So today we're going to show you how this gadget cache works, and we're also going to show you how I built it. So this is an idea I got from West Virginia Tim, but I kind of put my own spin on it. So we'll go over it now and show you how to, when you're approaching it, what you have to figure out. So anyway, you come up to the cache and you see, you know it's a fake, because this is not a real hole here. You look at it and there's numbers on it, and then you look down underneath here and you see there's a paddle lock down here, and it's got numbers on it, and there's actually a preform up inside of here, and it looks like that's where the cache, or we might actually have there it is, and that looks like a preform in there, so we think that might be where it's at. So we look at these different numbers, and you can go ahead and try all these numbers in this combo. You'll find that none of these numbers are the actual way to get in after trying every one of them. And if you read the cache page a little bit, you'll understand that I don't like working with numbers, so maybe there's another way we can do this. So the name of the cache is going to be Keep It Simple. So you got to look at it a little bit more, and you know nothing going on in the back. The screws holding it together, and you look on the side, there's nothing here, nothing opens. Again, there's that bottom piece there, and then on the front you see there's screws here. Looks like that's all screwed in. And basically I don't give you a whole lot on this one, but again, simplicity. And I'm gonna probably put a hint that says if the back door is locked, try the front door. And that's going to happen is if you reach up in here and you grab this door here and you pull down, you'll see it just opens up, and I have fake screws in there, and I've got some magnets to hold that up against there. And there's the cache there. This is the actual cache container, the logbook. And this one in here is just a fake one. I say do not remove the decoy, leave that in there. And so now I'm going to show you how I built this. And you say this is done with a hidden hinge. That's why you don't see that hinge. As Tim would call it, a red herring, but I call it a decoy. And if you open this by mistake, it actually has a label in here that says decoy, so it tells you that that's not going to happen, and it won't even allow you to get that out of there. So we're going to show you how to build this thing now. So we're going to start off with a few things you'll need to make this particular cache. You will definitely need a hidden hinge piece. This is a cabinet hinge, but they're hidden, so you'll need at least one of those, possibly two, depending on how big your door is in the front. You'll need a lock hasp like this here as your decoy. You're going to need some kind of screws. You're going to need some, probably, I don't know, 1.5 inch drywall screws. I got a couple of smaller ones. You'll need a lock of some kind. Again, this is part of the decoy, so it doesn't necessarily have to work other than locking in the first time. But if you got one that you only have one key to or something, you can use that as well. And then for your sleeve, for your decoy, you'll need this 1.25 inch piece of pipe, and this will allow, it's thin walled, it's not the Schedule 40, that allows you to put that preform in there, and it goes all the way through there. So, and then of course you're going to need scraps of wood to make your house with. I've got a couple of scraps here, some old scraps here, but one by some kind of pine or something. And then again, depending on what you want to do, you'll need paint. We're going to get started with this by laying that out, so we'll get to it now. So what we've done here is we've laid this out. We want to make it as small as we can, but still get everything fit. Now this is going to go on the outside, on the bottom side. This is going to go on the inside. This is that hidden latch. So we've cut it, we've drawn it, so we're going to cut this straight here, because it has a bevel on it from some other project I did. And then back is back here. So the board's coming down, the back are going to come down actually on the outside. And same thing with the front door. Now the ones on the side here are actually going to come down and hit this board. So we'll have to allow for the little bit of space that they come in this way. Same thing on this side here. So that looks like that's going to get it. So now we're going to go ahead and cut this. This will be our bottom board. This is going to have all of our mechanisms in it. It's pretty much, this one here and the front door are pretty much the critical pieces. The rest of it is just a plain birdhouse. I'll show you right here. I drew this out. And then right here is where we're going to draw out a hole. We're going to drill a hole so this PVC can sit right in here like this. And one thing I didn't show you is this takes a 1 3/4 inch hole saw to cut this hole here. So you will need this as an extra thing too, or you could just drill a hole and use a jigsaw, try to get it as straight as you can, but I think this is going to work best for us. So there, we've got our bottom piece cut out now. I've cut the front edge, back edge, and again this is the bottom. And now we're going to cut this hole here using the hole saw. What I've done is attach my PVC pipe in here. I did get labels because I'm going to have this as the actual decoy container. It's going to sit in here like this. I'm actually going to put a screw where someone can't take that out. I want that to stay permanently in there. But what I did on the back to put this in, went through the hole, but then I put drilled some holes in here with this drill, and then I countersunk them. And they drill into this actual piece to hold it steady inside of there. So now, because wood, pine is a soft wood, I went ahead and pre-drilled some holes. I kind of messed up and got these wrong, because what I want this to do is set on here, but I don't want it to make it look like it's blocking it. And I had it sitting over here, which made it look like it blocked it. So I want to make it look like you can get it out of that hole. So I backed them up, but pre-drilled that with a little bitty drill bit. So you want to use a little bitty drill bit to pre-drill them, because this pine has a tendency to split out, especially on small pieces like this. So here's what we got so far. We got the clasp on here, which is going to have a padlock on it, and it's going to appear that the cache will come out of here. So I've got a preformed in there, and this will latch, and then in the back, like I say, I actually put a screw through the top because I don't want people taking this one out and logging that one and maybe not putting it back in. So that decoy is going to stay alone there. And again, this is the bottom of the cache. So there's my board laying behind here. It's butted up against the bottom like this. And we basically have my angle drawn out here. I'm not sure what the degree is. I just threw an angle on there. Just one nice steep angle, let the rain run off of it. So once we get this created, cut this, we're going to have to create a front door that's basically the same mirror image on this side. And then we'll do our sides. And then, like I said, we're going to have to work on this front door to make sure that it doesn't look like it opens. We're going to actually put faux screws in it to make it look like it's screwed down. So after putting my degrees on the top of here, I went ahead and cut these, ripped these boards down. So what they're going to do now, I'm going to measure them to where I get my side on this side and the side on this side. And then we'll have those two sides done, and the hardest part's going to be getting that door on the front to make it look like it's solid, not actually a door. So there we have it with our two sides on both sides there. We probably overbuilt it as usual, but I screwed it in from the bottom, screwed it in from the back. And that's kind of the key, is you see these screws here. So when we put this one on the front, we're going to have some faux screws where it looks like it's screwed there, and there's only one access, and that's that bottom one. Our door on here, size it up, and figure out how to put that countersink into that. So probably one of the hardest thing I'm doing is getting this concaved in. I had to use the butterfly bit, and it has a deep center. So if I go too far, it's going to come out on the other side. I didn't want that. So I had to end up cutting it, and I actually got it too far away from the edge, so I had to chisel it out a little bit. It's going to set up in here now. I'm hoping that's going to work out for me. So let me show you what I got here. I got this thing finally adjusted. That's the hardest part, is getting this thing adjusted where there's hardly any cracks. So what I wanted them to do is I wanted to have some fold screws on the front. Make it look like it's screwed on the front. And even have them where if they look through this crack right here, they'll actually see the screw right through there. But what I did is you open this up, you'll see the screws extend through right here and here, but I actually made it bigger here where it just goes up inside there but doesn't stick. Now on these bottom ones, I don't want to cause my mechanism to mess up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 screws in here, and I cut these screws off short. Get my roof on. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do that. I actually have some tin I could put on the roof, but we'll have to see how that works out. And I think I'm going to have it hang over just a little bit in the front, and a little bit front and side here. So I still have to do a little painting, put my geocaching stickers on it to where I know it's a geocache. I did get my tin roof in. I did tuck in most of my edges. I do have some sharp edges over here on this side. So I'm going to take some, because people will be rubbing, trying to figure out how to get in here. So I'm going to take some silicone and do this edge here to make sure no one cuts themselves. A couple of changes I made in the design. I watched the video where I got this idea from West Virginia Tim. And he used magnets to hold this in place. I don't have nearly the strong ones like he had, but I don't really want it super strong. But I'm going to insert magnets in the door here and here, and I'm going to have them stick on this little screw that's down here on the base. So they're going to be set in there like that. So I've got to get these holes drilled for those, and I'll put them in with some epoxy or some, I think I got some Loctite I'm going to use to glue those in. I also changed up my interior connector. I found an old lock and lock. It's a little bit bigger. I used that. And also my lock, I was going to use the key lock, but in his design he had a dowel that he had, and he had dowels that you pulled on. In this case I'm going to have numbers. These are going to be faux numbers. And like I say, you can unlock this if you find the right combo, but when you open this up, I'm going to have a thing here saying this is a decoy. And then the numbers will be on different places throughout here, but it won't be the right numbers. It'll be different numbers. So I removed that door and recut my top edge just to make it a little bit better. And I basically JB welded these magnets in here on this after I countersunk them with a 1-inch drill bit. I didn't paint too much on this because most of it was already painted, just catching a couple of the edges. And if you waited to the end, you'll see this is what we had at the beginning. Actually, this is the completed job. You'll see I put these numbers on here. I put peel and stick labels. They may come off, so I went ahead and wrote some on here. And then again, these are fake numbers. They're not going to do anything for you. And I also put, there's even one underneath here. I put my email on here for somebody that may need to know that. And I've got the lock here. I even put a decoy. If you manage to get this open, it'll tell you it's a decoy in here. I'm going to try to get about 2 or 3 more of these together, and I'm going to have a little trail with these on them. And I'm probably going to have an event where I gather some of our geocaches together, and if they want to go look for these caches, I'll probably go with them after the event. So anyway, that's about it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see you out there. And I'll put the GC number in for this one once it gets approved.